Alright, hello everybody, it's me, it's Jacob. We are here to play some more Modern Horizons 3 Modern. Really, really liking the way this Jeskai control deck feels. I have been playing it off stream for about 5 days now, and I cannot wait to talk about it. So I had been having a lot of trouble with the blue-red tempo decks and the blue-red control decks, not because invert polarity and Tameo are bad, but I feel like there's so much going on right now with Modern Horizons 3 and there's so many new cards being played. It's kind of hard to play around everything with a blue-red control deck, and there were a lot of just attrition-based matchups where it wasn't particularly clear to me when I should attack with Tameo, when I should crack clues. It was a lot more complicated than a typical control deck or tempo deck, right? And I felt like I was losing percentage points due to a lack of format knowledge, and I was like, okay, blue-red deck isn't working. Why is that? And it's like, well, I can't play cards like Ragavan because I can't get through. And I'm like, okay, why can't I get through? It's like, because there's so much crap on these boards now, right? There's so much actual stuff that it makes connecting with Ragavan and trying to tempo your opponent out pretty difficult. So I'm like, okay, what deck does a good job of getting rid of all of your opponent's stuff so you can have a nice, simple game of Magic regardless of what your opponent's playing? And I'm like, control decks. They run Supreme Verdict, right? So I looked at the MTG Goldfish list to see if there were any control decks running around. Turns out Wrath the Skies is really good. About 5 days ago, a Jeskai control list that looks almost identical to this 5-0'd with 3 copies of Wrath the Skies. Now, if y'all don't know what this card does, you're about to find out. So it's X and 2 white, you get X energy, then you can pay any amount of energy, and you destroy each artifact, creature, and enchantment with mana value less than or equal to the amount of energy paid this way. So this kills Urza's Saga. This kills Pithy Needles, Chalice of the Voids, Boggle stuff, whatever you want. Okay? For essentially 2 mana, because you're running 4 copies of Tune the Narrative to get some nice energy on turn 1, and 4 copies of Galvanic Discharge, because it's the best removal spell in the format. And other than that, it's just a typical blue-white control package, with the exception of Flage, who's more or less the new Uro, in a lot of cases better than Uro, because Flage can actually kill stuff, which is super relevant in this format. And other than that, the game is just nice and simple. You do your Wandering Loops, you draw a jamillion cards. You're also a combo deck, because you got Narset and Days Undoing, which, for those of you who don't know, when you cast Days Undoing when Narset's out, your opponent discards their whole hand and draws 1 card while you draw a fresh 7. This combo is mostly just to prevent garbage time after you've already stabilized against your opponents, because, sometimes, you've Wrath the Skies, all their stuff, you've Solitude all their creatures, all that, and they still don't concede because they're like, well, I got 5 cards in hand, there's still a shot, and then you Narset Days Undoing them, and they literally have no cards, and it's like, okay, we can keep playing this until I kill you with either Flage or Hall the Storm Giants, or you can just concede when I have 7 cards in hand and you have none, and most of the time that's when reasonable players will pack it in. Also Graveyard Hate, which does come up every now and then, and you have the 4th copy of Narset and the 2nd copy of Days Undoing for those matchups where you just really need to get the combo off. And when you can, realistically get the combo off. As far as the sideboard, it's pretty interesting. I did 5-0 with a list yesterday that was running Obsidian Charmaw as a 4 in the sideboard to deal with the Eldrazi decks. Although, I do think Consigned to Memory might just be better. It's more versatile. You can bring this in against Ruby Storm to counter Storm triggers, and also the Ruby Medallion as well. Um, it can stop leyline binding if you're worried about that. It's just a more versatile card, whereas Obsidian Charmaw really only comes in against the Eldrazi decks. You're not super worried about the Urza Saga decks anymore because Wrath of the Skies just kills the Saga and any tokens they make. It is so much better than Supreme Verdict. Paying 2 mana as opposed to 4 is just night and day, and you really need it in this format because there's just so much junk lying around between like mana dorks and shukos and just, you know, all players just love dumping crap onto the board in the new meta. So this is really there to just punish them. I was running a fourth Wrath of the Skies in some builds that I had of this, but I'm just going back to basics, going back to the first list I 5-0'd with, because I have 3 trophies this season and they're all with Jeskai control. I couldn't make blue-red work. I'm sure there's blue-red players out there that are way smarter than me that are able to navigate these attrition-based matchups in the new meta and just always know when to go for it and when to hold back. I'm not that smart. I just want to keep things simple, kill all your stuff, draw a million cards. Thank you. Have a nice day. And that's been working out well for me. I don't know if this deck is better than the blue-red control decks or the blue-red tempo decks. It probably isn't, but it definitely is more compatible with how I prefer to play Magic, which is just like, okay, all your stuff's gone. I'm going to draw a million cards. You can concede when you're comfortable conceding, opponent. So, enough of all that. Let's just jump in there, play some leagues with Jeskai control in Modern, which it's so cool that this deck is actually back in some regard, because I'm not the only one that's done well with this. It's been doing consistently well in the challenges, coming in second place a lot of times. There's even a Gifts Ungiven variant that runs Sylvain's Reclamation and a bunch of other stuff to get Flage in the graveyard as quick as possible and to buy back your instants and sorceries with Snapcaster Mage. I didn't do particularly well with that build just because it wasn't running the pitch elementals, and I really like the pitch elementals as a way to just survive until you can play the One Ring. But if the One Ring ever gets banned, I think that Gifts Ungiven build might be a good alternative, right? Because there really isn't a card advantage engine strong enough to replace the One Ring. You could like maybe go more all in on the Narset Days Undoing package, but feel like the One Ring is just better. Like it's one of the most powerful cards in Modern, and for good reason. Okay, we get to go first. This is the thing about this deck as well. As long as you have fetch lands, you can typically keep most hands, right? Because you need to get to 4 mana, and with your fetch lands, you run 1 copy of each of the Jeskai Surveil lands. So your early game, you can just spend, as long as you have something to do on turn 3, you can typically spend the early game just like cracking fetch lands, putting stuff in the yard, right? Because your opponent's going to want to interact with you most of the time during the early game. And if you're just like, okay, pass, surveil, you typically can like sculpt things really well. Like, drawing anything there that wasn't a land is just so good. Because now we can just surveil all these lands to the bottom. Okay, looks like we're playing against blue-red tempo and or blue-red control. We're going to need to watch out for invert polarity, definitely. Okay, are they preordaining for a land? They could just be playing Tamiyo. Nope, they're preordaining. Okay. So, we're probably going to slam Teferi here. And if they got Spell Pierce, they got Spell Pierce, right? Oh, nope, they're just going to play Tamiyo. Okay. So I'm going to tune the narrative here just to see if we draw a Galvanic Discharge. We don't. Okay, let's go Thundering Falls. There's Discharge. And I'm going to Slam Teferi. And they might have Force, they might have Subtlety, but it's fine. Because we can always just discharge the Tamiyo later. Okay, bounce Tamiyo back. Now they have to kill Teferi, which we're fine with because he's already drawn us a card. We drew a new Teferi. Not a fan of playing Teferi Time Raveler. I notoriously hate this card, but, you know, this is probably the best control deck in the format, so it just makes sense to do this. Okay, they're going to preordain once again. And there's Tamiyo. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna play Narset here. Although, ooh, Phage is really good, but no point in really playing that right now. Let's see, we have a lot of blue sources, so I might get the Sacred Foundry, just so that we have some good red sources as well. Let's see, which is better here, Teferi or Narset? I feel like Narset's better. Actually, they probably got so much counter magic. We need to make them deal with Tef, and they might not have enough removal. Okay. Gonna do this. Gonna play Teferi. Gonna get the Sacred Foundry. Gonna leave a red source open so that we can kill Tamiyo. Actually, let's just bounce Tamiyo again. Like, why not? Just keep making them replay that. And that way, if they Galvanic Discharge, we can at least, what's it called? That way, if they Galvanic Discharge, we at least have drawn a card off Teferi. Okay, they play in Tamiyo again. Like, this is fine. We're not worried about Snapcaster Mage. Snapcaster Mage did his job. Instead, we will kill Tamiyo and slam the One Ring. Because this is when things get a little silly. We're going to leave the red source open, just in case we draw Discharge. They didn't have Invert Polarity up, and I would rather them... Wow, it's just like we drew it up. Yeah, without them having Invert Polarity up, I feel like it's just smarter to slam the One Ring while we can, because that really is the card that we're most afraid of in this matchup, is just Invert Polarity. Still, if they invert Flage when we haven't escaped it, we're mostly okay with that. Okay. We got Counterspell. I wanna slam Narset here. Just start digging for extra stuff. And I feel like we can do this before we play the land. There's Narset. Counter your counter. And let's see what's cooking. Another counterspell? That's fine. Okay, so they got counterspells in the yard now. They're going to draw 2 cards with Flame. Feel like we're drawing a bit more cards than them. Okay, they got Invert Polarity up. And let's get Elegant Parlor. Make sure that our next draw is counter magic of some kind. Don't feel like we really want Wrath the Skies. This doesn't seem like a Wrath the Skies matchup. Okay, let's draw some cards. Okay, there's Tune the Narrative. I'm gonna Flage just to gain some life. Yeah, they were thinking about inverting there. Could feel it. Now I think we just play Flooded Strand. And hope we can find another copy of the One Ring. We can't find Teferis anymore to bounce the One Ring because all of our Teferis are dead. Teferi is dead. Teferi is dead. We do have enough energy to Wrath the Skies a Murktide Regent, though, if the Solitude thing doesn't work out. We're getting close to just dying to Lightning Bolts, though. Like, that's the thing about Blue-Red. It can just kind of win out of nowhere. Okay, here's Murky. And I feel like we're getting Ragoon Triome. We're fetching, getting Ragoon Triome, casting Tune the Narrative. To inform our decisions a bit better. Arid Mesa. That's not very good. That is not very good. If they play another creature here, though, we will happily Wrath the Skies. Okay, they're representing Invert Polarity. And we've drawn another land. We need counter magic here. Okay, so we can kind of do it all here, right? We can cast the One Ring, we can cast Solitude, we can cast Flage. There's like a million things that we can actually do. And I think where it starts is us casting Flage, right? Because if they invert polarity that, then we just Wrath the Skies, and then we can play the One Ring next turn. Although then we go to Okay, so if they do that, we go to 6, and then we go to 2, and then we die to Snapcaster Lightning Bolt. Right? So I think I think what we start with is we start by exiling a white card to try and kill Murktide Regent. Because if they invert polarity this, we don't really care. We really don't want them to steal Flage, right? Okay. So they've done that, and now we can theoretically escape Flage. Theoretically. And if this resolves, that's great. We're going to do that. And now I think we play the One Ring. Okay, let's see if they invert polarity. Nope, they don't. They just counterspell. This is fine. Because we will more likely than not draw another One Ring. Okay, they bolt here. We can go down to 5. But then we still don't die. Right? They have to kill Flage. They will not be able to race Flage, is the thing. Yeah, cool. Jeskai control. Love it. Okay, see, this is what I'm talking about. With the blue-red deck, you really do have to kind of like hope Tamiyo lives, nickel and dime your opponent with like Flame of Anor. You could just like play the One Ring and draw a million cards. Like, it doesn't make sense to be a control deck without the One Ring. It really has just like got into that point. And until they print better card advantage spells than the One Ring that also protect you, it's not going to make sense to play a control deck that doesn't play this card. Or Flage, really, at this point. Flage has been an all-star in control. Okay, so against blue-red, my baby, my sweet darling child, we definitely do want, we want the Force of Negations for sure. Wrath of Skies isn't great because they don't really run a lot of trinkets. They don't run a lot of things that we want to blow up. Narset's great against them. Force of Negation's great against them. Rest in Peace might also be good. It does shut off Murktide Regent. It does make Snapcaster Mage worse. It's just finding an opportunity to actually play Rest in Peace is a little sketchy and probably not going to work out great. So I think that it's not really something that you really want to do, because you could just Solitude Murktide Regent or just counter Snapcaster Mage. Thank you. Thank you, Billy, for the follow. I appreciate it. Happy to have you here. And yeah, I feel like you could bring in Rest in Peace, but the tempo loss from it's really bad, and it also shuts off your own Flage, which is easily one of your best cards in this matchup next to the One Ring. My hands always get so shaky whenever I play control decks because it really is one of those archetypes where if you just like screw up once, you're donezo. And it's nerve-wracking, I'm not gonna lie. Definitely keeping this hand. We got Elegant Parlor, we got the Narset Days Undoing combo. They could like draw a million cards. It doesn't really matter. I'm gonna tune the narrative turn 1 to try and find a white card or another land. Okay, we didn't. That's sad. So they are going to get to draw a card off Tamiyo. We will eventually draw more cards than them, but we need to make sure our stuff actually resolves, which is the tricky part. When blue-red is on the play, it is a force to be reckoned with. Okay. If they draw a card at instep, that's bad news. So I'm gonna cycle here. I'm gonna get steam vents. Now I'm gonna surveil. And it's very important you sequence that properly so you don't mess up your surveil, right? Discharge. Discharge seems fine. That is a fine card to have in this matchup. Kills Tamiyo, kills Snapcaster Mage, which they will eventually start beating you to death with Snapcaster Mage if you're not careful. Okay, the key thing in this match is going to be getting literally any of our threats to resolve. And I think where it starts is it starts with trying to kill Tamiyo here. Like, seeing how much they actually fight over this. We'll discharge there. Tamiyo did her job. She drew 2 cards. Really good for our opponent. But if we can slam either Narset or the One Ring, it's going to be very hard for them to actually come back here. The problem is we have to play at sorcery speed while they don't, right? That's going to be the really tricky part. Okay, they're going to try and flip Tamiyo this turn. Yeah, they're thinking about if they want to preordain. Right? Okay. Let's see how much they care about this Tamiyo. Does think that we gotta exile Flage, but we do have another one in our deck. And again, the key thing here is just going to be making sure that we can actually resolve a threat. Yep, then they go tune the narrative. That's fine. We're going to slam Narset down. And hopefully they don't have Spell Pierce. Like, they think they're really clever for that. And they are. Honestly, it's a good play. But we were trying to get them to, like, lower on mana so that we could actually play Narset. And if they counter Narset here with a Spell Pierce or a Force, that is, of course, very, very bad for us. But definitely taking Force of Negation here. I feel like having 2 forces is ideal. Because now, if they don't have Lightning Bolt for Narset, they have to try and interact on their turn. Oh, nope, they got Bolt. Well, that's rough. That's actually really rough, because now they got Flip Tamiyo. Mm-hmm. Seeing the power of Tamiyo went on the play here. Mm-hmm. Her plus doesn't really do much here. What's way more terrifying is the ultimate, because that will just win the game. And now we kind of have to try and make them have it. There is a chance they don't have it. It is unlikely. Yep. Okay. Now I think the game is basically just over. That Tamiyo did some serious work. Still, we might be able to win if we're on the play next game. And, like, Rest in Peace wouldn't have done anything here, right? You know, because they mostly just won by doing Tameo stuff. And they don't buy anything back with Tameo either, which tells me that this game is basically just over. Like, or maybe they're just racing for the ultimate. I feel like it would have been smart to buy back a counterspell if they didn't have one, but, you know. Okay, let's discharge here. Maybe we bait out a counterspell. I doubt it. Stinks we can't kill her. And we kind of need to catch up in cards to our opponent. We're getting Days Undoing. Hope they draw a bunch of lands. It's unlikely, but you never know. I think this is the best bet that we actually have to win. 4 mana to cast Subtlety. Okay. Okay, if they draw like crap and we draw well, we have a shot. Not a good shot, but it's better than just conceding the game and not doing anything. Narset plus Counterspell seems solid. And now they don't have a graveyard for their Tameo or Murktide Regents either, which is pretty good for us. What's not good is this Subtlety. That is slowly going to kill us. Maybe not slowly, but definitely going to kill us if we don't do anything about it. There is a case to just play Narset here and downtick. I feel like it's smarter to try and kill Subtlety, though. And to maybe set up for that next turn. Maybe not Subtlety, maybe the second Tameo. Yeah, I don't want them drawing more cards than me. I can take the hit from Subtlety if, you know, Solitude resolves. I feel like this isn't gonna resolve, but it forces our opponent to use some mana on their turn, right? Okay, there's Counterspell. We don't know how many of those our opponent actually has. Now they can, like, buy that back. But if they do buy it back... Okay, they don't buy it back. Drawing lots of lands. Okay, multiple discharges is quite nice. Okay, so we'll start with this. Try and counter anything that they play. Is this invert polarity? It is. Okay. Counterspell. Okay, they probably have another invert polarity. Again, this is easily the best card against us because we play so many swingy threats. We'll see if they won the flip. You know, I love this card. They won the flip. Okay, we're done. We can't win there. They just generated too much card advantage early on, and we couldn't really get a foothold. Against this, I do think Subtlety is probably the way to go, and maybe going down on the Days Undoing combo and just, like, up our Narset in general, because Narset's probably not going to live against all their red-based removal, right? We can go down on Tune the Narrative, because Discharge is just big enough to kill most things they have anyway. Let's see. His hand's pretty good. I'm gonna keep this. Play Triumph. Really don't want to see a turn 1 Tameo. Wow, they don't have turn 1 Tameo. That is excellent news for us. Easily the best card they have against us. We need to draw a land to do, like, anything. But if we can draw a land... We got Hall. We got Narset. Got lots of good stuff here. Gotta draw that land, though. Counterspell's good, but it's not a land. They might be stuck on lands too, but I mean, this is blue-red. There's one thing blue-red's very good at, it's getting stuck on lands, but they kept one on top, so it doesn't look like it. And there we go. Streamer's Curse. 2-lander with cantrips. Not good enough, Gary. Not good enough. Not good enough, Gary. Not good enough. And they put a card on top of their library. Man, losing the blue-red in the first chunk of this video would be so embarrassing. I would like a land deck, please. There are many in this deck. Okay. Guess this isn't happening. Okay. And they're consistently hitting their land drops. Well, this has happened when we've played against blue-white before. Cool. Oh well. Please play something. Okay. I will counter literally anything here. I mean, there's still a chance if we draw land next turn. There is a chance. We do have a bunch of free pitch spells. But it would be really nice if, like, we could draw lands that would be really cool. It would be so awesome. Okay, not much to say here, just not drawing lands. This is the turn, surely, in our 23 land deck with 2 Lauren revealed, or we draw another One Ring. I'm not conceding. I think that hand was a keep, is the thing. You know, 1 extra land and we are just online. There we go. Good job, deck. You did it. What a comedy of errors. Thing is, like, they're just gonna tempo us out now. Like, we needed to draw this land, like, 3 turns ago. We don't even have the means to just, like, keep buying Flage back. Still, just because this is how the league starts out doesn't mean we can't 4-1. Just unlucky. Let's see. I think we get Thundering Falls here. And look for a land. That counts. That counts. That is a land, more or less. Going to get Meticulous Archive. Gonna represent Counterspell even though we don't have it. Gonna bottom to Fairy. We just need to hit our land drops. I think the best way we're gonna win is if we can start pressuring them on instep. And the way they win is they just start, like, casting Snapcaster Mages. There's Subtlety. Yeah, they're just trying to end the game quickly. I get it. Makes sense. Makes total sense. That's what you want to do. You want to just play stuff on your opponent's end step. Tempo them out. Our opponent's playing this perfectly. Like, we stumbled. They took advantage of it. Very proud of them. Okay. If they play a Murktide Regent here, we can win, theoretically. Because we could Subtlety the Murktide Regent. Okay, but they don't. There's no reason for them to overextend, right? There's, like, absolutely no reason. Okay. Let's discharge here. And if they try to counter it, we can force. They're not going to counter it, though. Which is fine. You know, they got a Snapcaster Mage. That's more than enough to pay the bills. They shock it in. Is it Murktide time? Or do they just want to hold up 2 subtleties? They know we have the One Ring because we discarded one of them, right? So. There's Solitude. I just... Man, this deck does not want to draw lands today. Okay, they're gonna Flame of Anor. That's fine. We just have to hope that they draw more lands than us. Magus of the Moon. That is not a card that we can beat. Okay, I'm gonna Subtlety Magus. This might be the turn where we fight over shit. Okay, they Flare of Denial. Can I attempt to force a negation this? They're probably going to respond with Invert Polarity. Maybe another Flare. Our opponent's list is very good. Okay, now they're gonna go Counterspell, right? Now they go another Flare. Okay. We have all mountains, but that's fine. We can always Solitude the Magus. And they're tapped out for that, so they need another Flare of Denial, which seems very unlikely. And even if they have it, we need to Solitude the okay, great. Yeah, we would need to Solitude the Magus of the Moon. Which definitely is what I'm gonna do. Okay, so you're telling me there is a chance. There is in fact a chance that we win this game. Because now they only have invert polarity up. Or consigned to memory. That's fine. Got a Flage. I think I'm exiling Snapcaster Mage. Because if we can get another white card, we actually need this Magus to fix our mana so that we can cast Flage. As absolutely cuckoo, crazy, ridiculous as that sounds, that's what we need this Magus for. We could just get bolted out of the game here too, is the thing. Okay. We did not draw a white spell. We did not draw... We did not draw another ring. So we need to tune the narrative. And... No, we just die. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we just die here no matter what. Yeah. Well, good game. We almost crawled back. We almost crawled back. If they didn't consign the ring, we might have had a shot. But it is what it is. Like, we didn't hit our lands and ended up losing. That is the thing. Like, blue-red is, you know, like, I think it has a worse matchup spread than Jeskai, but the preordains really do make it at least consistent, even if it isn't more powerful, right? That was definitely a rough start. Okay. Let's try this again. Okay. This seems fine. Assuming we can, again, hit our third land drop. And that we're playing against something That Wrath of the Skies can be good against. Okay, it's mill. Definitely need to kill this crab. And I think I'm getting Sacred Foundry for that. Another matchup where Wrath the Skies just isn't good. Maybe people are straying away from the just like, I dump everything I have on the board style decks. That could be possible. Narset's good in this matchup, though, as is Days Undoing. Just because it undoes all their mill stuff. Even just Days Undoing, like, completely raw is good here, I feel. And they might be able to mill our Flage, which I don't think will matter too much. But, you know, could be good. Could be good. Visions of Beyond. Okay. We're gonna draw a card here. And didn't hit another land drop. This is an issue. Okay, hope please don't mill a land. Mill 3 non-lands. Two lands. Two lands. Okay. Surely there will be a land on top. Okay, good, good, good. We're gonna get Hollowed Fountain here. And we're gonna Narset, try and get Days Undoing in our hand. Or maybe a Force of Negation. They could Spell Pierce this. Okay, they don't. That's good. Counterspell's probably the pickup here. Although Lauren Revealed does get us another land for the ring. I'm going to take Lauren Revealed. This shuts off their card draw, which is good. Flage is now at the bottom of our library, which is bad. Granted, we're kind of far away from casting Flage anyway, at least with our current mana base. They mill some non-lands. Is this Tasha's Hideous Laughter? They only mill 7 there. That's good. We do have a relatively high CMC deck, so Tasha's is not good against us. And there's Days Undoing. So I guess we're just doing... No. I'll search first. Get Steam Vents. Play Steam Vents. Cast Days Undoing. We got the combo. Please don't force a negation us. You can archive trap us. Doesn't matter. They're all going back in. Except the ones in exile. Man, that combo is so good against Mill. I just love that combo. That felt very clean. Okay. They can still mill us for a ton, right? Thank you, Hannah. I do appreciate that. Yeah, I think we downtick Narset. See what the future holds for us. We got the One Ring. I kind of like just casting the One Ring here, I think. Actually, probably makes sense to kill the crab and then just hold up Counterspell. Because that is one of the ways that we can lose, is if they have a counter and then they just mill us with the crab. Okay, they cast visions. They can't cast another visions of note. We will kill everything that cost 1. They didn't fetch in response with Hedron Crab. I think they might be a little tilted. There's another crab. I am just gonna counter that. I am more afraid of the crab because they can just consistently mill stuff. I know we have a wrath for it, but I really just want to like get the One Ring down. I feel like the One Ring will help us find Flage, which is going to be the main way that we end the game. I don't think I want to tap out for Hall. Okay, they're fetching. If they do another Tasha's, I think we're okay with that. Okay. I'm just gonna keep anything on top because I don't think it's smart for me to mill cards. Like I don't want to help our opponent out. Put that card in our hand. Now, drawing cards does kind of like help our opponent out, but not really. It is something we need to be cautious of, but right now it just kind of feels like garbage time. Yeah, and I think we just actually let's see what the ring has for us. Teferi's cool, like, but I think just killing our opponent is cooler. This doesn't work out if, like, the one card they have left is Fatal Push, but we would have had to, like, get it out of their hand eventually. Okay. Not doing anything there. And I will discard a Scalding Tarn. They're gonna go to 3. They could, like... Okay, there's a crab. That's fine. We can kill that crab. And they mill a counterspell. We have 1 counterspell left in our deck and 1 force. So they kind of got like carte blanche to resolve whatever they want here. Okay, there's Fate, Flage. Let's see. I think we Flage. I think we Flage rather than attack with Hall. Just because it's safer, right? Like, it's so much safer just to Lightning Helix them. Red, white, that. Like, now, even if they have a Fatal Push, it won't really matter. Okay, good, good, good. Okay, so against Mill, we definitely want all of the Narset Days Undoing combo. Like 100%. And some Force of Negations would also be good. They don't run a lot of junk, so again, not a good Wrath of Skies matchup. And Subtlety seems like a good way to counter not only the crabs, but Jace as well. Tune the Narrative. not really excellent here. Um, just because, again, we're mostly killing crabs. Solitude, I think subtlety is probably just better. This hand is not good. Um, we can kill a crab and then do basically nothing. Our surveillance are a lot worse in this matchup than other matchups by a large margin, because if we keep a card on top, they can just mill it away. So we kind of have to make sure we sequence things properly there. That's why I'm not really going to prioritize the surveil lands too much. Because not only does our life total not matter against mill, so we can afford to get the shock lands instead. But again, as mentioned, the surveil stuff, not great. We will fetch aggressively and early on, though. Less time we give them to draw Archive Trap, the better. That's one thing against mill. Like, if you're afraid of fetching on turn 1 because of Archive Trap, just do it. Like, especially if they mulligan low, it's like, okay, even if they have 2, it's like, okay, you milled me for like 13, 26. But, like, you got 2 cards in your hand now. Like, just be brave. Just go for it. Especially if you got, like, Spell Pierce. Then you can just do that. Yeah, exactly. Like, I see so many people where it's like, oh man, I don't want to fetch because, you know, what if they have Archive Trap? It's like, then they have Archive Trap, man. You gotta fucking go for it. Like, you can't be like, I'm gonna like Stone Rain myself by not using my fetch lands, because then you just give them more time to like draw into the stuff they actually want. If they got the Stone Cold Nuts and it's like 2 Archive Traps into a Glimpse, you weren't gonna win if your hand was full of fetches anyway. You just weren't. I'm actually not gonna play Tef here. I feel like it's smarter to hold up Discharge and Counterspell, because eventually they're gonna play a crab. And they're clearly representing Drown in the Loch. We'll just keep amassing energy until one of us makes a move. And if I need to discard a card, I'll just discard Flage. But we don't need to discard a card. That's cool. I'm going to keep that on top because it's a land drop. If we can, this is exactly how it was against our blue-red opponent. Nah, I don't want to drown in a lock and get myself open up. There's no reason, because we're not being pressured, right? We can cast Tef like anytime. And Tef's not even like an auto win against them anyway, like it would be against like Suspend. Okay, now that we can also hold up Counterspell, might as well throw one of these Tefs away to drown in the lock. That's fine. I don't even care. I'm just gonna keep holding up Counterspell. Like, we'll just do it again next turn. Okay, now they're hitting their lands. Spooky, scary. Gonna get our last island here. Plains doesn't really do much because we already have... Yeah. Gonna counter there. Now they drown in the lock. Now we can resolve the One Ring. Like, they mill us. They might surgical the One Ring, which would be annoying. But not the end of the world. No, don't want to play Flage. Thank you, deck. Of note, we have 19 cards in our graveyard, which is not 20. And we got protection, so they can't target us with mill spells. And we're 9 cards away from turning on Shelldock Isle. We really need to draw some red sources here. Okay. What are you doing? You surgical enforce. There's Tasha's. Gonna exile Tef. Because again, they all really play at instant speed anyway. I much more care about finding like Narset and our last copy of Days Undoing. Like, finding our Days Undoing is gonna be key here. Because we gotta get all these red cards out of our hand. We gotta get our red lands back in our deck. Gonna get Elegant Parlor here. Or Sacred Foundry is just better. Okay. 2 counter spells. Yeah, we're not dying to our own ring anytime soon. Holding up 2 counter spells and a discharge is just better. And eventually we will find our last copy of Days Undoing. Like, it is going to happen. Unless they mill it. Is this Jace? No, it's Fractured Sanity. Counter that. Just sitting behind our wall of card draw and counter magic. Just like my mama raised me. Don't act until they act. And where they're completely out of options. Finish them. Okay, we're fetching here. Gonna get Elegant Parlor. This time I will actually surveil away the land, because I definitely need that Days Undoing. Or a Force. Okay, got pretty unlucky here with no rings, no nothing. Now they're probably just gonna mill us out and win. Because Shelldock Isle's online. Like, they haven't played any creatures. Maybe we get lucky and they play like Jace. But if they mill us hard enough, we can't even draw with the ring. Oh my gosh, they're actually doing it. Okay. Sure. Okay, they're shell docking. How much are we milling? Okay, that's not too bad. We mill 15. No, that is bad, actually. Because we don't have another blue card to pitch. Did they mill our Days Undoing? They didn't. Okay. We still got a shot. We still got a shot. In fact, we're going to draw like 4 cards. We can discharge Jace. They get rid of Counterspell? Why would you do that? The Days Undoing is in the graveyard, opponent. That is, if anything, they're helping us, right? Because we still have forces. Maybe they got 2 surgicals? Like, in which case, why wouldn't they surgical a force? Okay. We can discharge both of those. Start here. There it is. Okay. We will die to our own ring if we don't flage something, right? So I think what we do is we flage. I think we flage Jace. Let's get rid of all of our fetch lands so that when we Days Undoing, we don't run the risk of drawing them because they'll be in exile. Let's kill Jace. I think I go with Hall. And then cast Days Undoing to put 30 cards back. They get to draw 7 as well. I highly doubt they will be able to mill us out from that. That is one of the reasons Days Undoing is so good. Okay, they play another Rune Crab. Just gonna subtlety it. There's no reason not to, right? We don't got cards in our graveyard, so their Drown in the Locks are worthless. I guess they can Field of Ruin. But I would rather have 7 cards and not die than otherwise. These forces are our only counter magic, so we gotta use them wisely. Okay, that's fine. It's annoying, but it's fine. Another crab. Oh my gosh. Okay, so they're gonna mill us for 9 here if they crack Field of Ruin. Oh my goodness. 18. That's 18. Holy moly. It's Crab City. Okay. And they can kill Hall. Ensnaring Bridge. That is something we can't deal with, like, at all. That is not gonna happen. Of note, they didn't feel of Field of Ruin Hall. What are they doing now? Are they gonna fatal push Flage? Because that would be annoying, but they give her a subtlety. Sure. Goodbye ensnaring bridge. They can mill us for another 9. If we draw more removal, though, we can theoretically kill them with Hall. If we draw, like, all of our subtleties. Because... No, not our subtleties. Our solitudes. Then we can kill all their crabs, hit them with Hall. Definitely killing all their crabs regardless. Okay. Okay, let's think. This means we can't be targeted. Right? The One Ring does. Which means they can't mill us with Hedron Crab. And we got enough to discharge. We can discharge, evoke a Solitude, play the One Ring. Yeah, I think that's the play. That way we don't die to our own One Ring anyway. They got 2 cards left in their hand. We have protection. We're going to... We're gonna subtlety. Actually, we should have just gone to attacks. Right? Yeah, we should just gone to attacks and, like, killed something with the Flage trigger. Yep, that was a misplay. That was a not good play on my part. They can't target us, though. Target player mills 3 cards. Yeah. They have to target themselves. Which is not nothing. Okay, they're doing Undercity Sewers first. Mill some cards. And tap the One Ring. That's the perfect draw. Because now we can kill one of those. That was the perfect draw. The only better draw would have been like actual Force of Negation. Now we play Narset. Look for one of our last forces. Now they can't like draw out of anything. I'm actually not putting any of these in our hand. Because we want insurance against Tasha's, and none of these do the thing we want to do. So I'm going to refuse to do that. Because if my math is correct, they can't Tasha's. And they can't archive trap us. And now those cards are at the bottom, so we're closer to our Force of Negation if they try to, like, do Field of Ruin stuff. This feels like a really good matchup for us. And they can't target us. So it literally has to be Tasha's. It has to be Tasha's Hideous Laughter. She's not going to do anything. Fatal Push. Revolt is not active, opponent. You should have Field of Ruined first. Definitely a big misplay. They might be a bit tilted. Odawara. We can still hit them with Hall and then Flage to kill them because they tapped the Field of Ruin for some reason. I don't know why they did that. They have one card in their hand. Yeah, now we can... Nope, we're 1 mana short. Okay. Let's Narset, look for Force. There it is. Okay, we got one more Force too. Yeah, we got one more. Probably just doing this. $11 cards left. There's the other Days Undoing. So play my Triome. Cast Flage. Lightning Helix them. Days Undoing a second time, except now Narset's out. And we got the Force of Negation back up. I completely forgot about the second Days Undoing. I forgot. Totally forgot about that. Now even if they have Drown in the Lock, it doesn't matter. There's Tasha's. We're going to force that. No reason not to. Man, Flage just being a Lightning Helix factory has really done a lot to keep us from dying to our own One Ring. Really like this card in Jeskai. Feel like it's exactly what the... Yeah. Oh yeah, opponent's not giving up, right? I think they're very correct for playing it out. Because you never know. You really never know. Okay, now they Field of Ruin. Okay. I guess they forgot Field of Ruin existed. Still up against Mill, which is not really surprising. Days Undoing is kind of like a main deck Emrakul. Like, sure, we don't have any way to flash it back or anything, but big fan of that card. Big, big fan. Pardon me. What is it, Hannah? Do you like that I said the thing that you always say? Hannah is famous for burping and then being like, pardon me. Okay. Let's see. This hand's pretty good. We are on the draw once again. Thankfully, that doesn't really matter too much in this deck. Like, naturally, I'd want to be on the play in most matchups, and I would never choose to be on the draw. But as far as decks that can, like, kind of come back, even though they've been on the draw, this deck really does feel like it. The pitch elementals help with that a lot. The One Ring helps with that. I just love drawing cards. I love drawing cards, Charlie. I love drawing cards. Okay, let's... I think we're gonna go get Hollowed Fountain. We're gonna shock it in and tune the narrative. That way, if we draw Wrath the Skies, we can more effectively Wrath. Better homes and Wrathing. And if this becomes a 3-3, I will just Solitude it. Although maybe it's probably better to do that post-combat in case they play Murky. Because this looks like the blue-red tempo deck. Yeah, they are going forth. Currently, they only have 3 card types in the yard, though. Okay, they look at the top card of their library. We're gonna get our Is It Surveillan? We're gonna get Thundering Falls. Definitely keeping Elegant Parlor on top. We want to get to 4 mana for the One Ring. Because we got 2 of them, which is neat. Don't think we want a fetch land, though. Okay, we got counter magic. Probably gonna Solitude Ragavan if they play it. Okay, Darcy is like on the chopping block now because she has 3 power, which will kill us in 5 turns. Less if they have a lightning bolt. Okay, they bought a Murktide Regent. Get rid of that. I'm countering their expressive iteration because if they're stuck on lands, yeah, they spell pierce this. Now they got 1 spell pierce left in their deck. And now we can just slam the One Ring. Feels so much easier to play against this deck when they don't have Tamiyo. Right? Like, yep, Darcy's here. They need Force of Negation. Otherwise, they just probably lose the game. Here's the One Ring. Woohoo! Let's play a game, opponent. It's called I Draw All the Cards, and you don't. Okay, give me a land. That's a land. Um, let's try discharging this. Counterspell. That's cool. Here's Flage. This is what I really wanted to respond, because I wanted to gain that life. Okay, that's fine. We can just flashback Flage next turn. Maybe they play a threat and we subtlety it. Yeah, they're digging. They're digging hard. Maybe for some lightning bolts. They put 2 on top. Okay. That's a bit scary, not gonna lie. Okay. Exile Narset. They put Murky Tide on the bottom. Okay. Let's draw some more cards. Okay. Definitely gonna go for the One Ring here. And I have another Plains in my deck. So, gonna do this. Play around Spell Pierce. Okay, they bolt me. Do this. Little scared. Little scared. Go to 1 if we fetched. And I feel like there's no point in doing that. Instead, I'm going to Lauren Revealed, get an island, try and find a counterspell as well. They're looking for a counterspell too, right? But they've played 2 of them. Okay, they're expressing themselves, which is good. It's always important to express yourself. Okay, there's Rag. Okay. We go to... Okay, they got nothing. So I'm actually going to get my Triome here. Okay. Things to do. They might have subtlety. That is a theoretical way we could lose the game. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to play Tef. Going to bring back Flage. One, two, three, 4, 5. Gonna cast Flage. Gonna kill Ragavan. Then I'm gonna bounce Darcy. Now they need 2 lightning bolts. They need to bolt us twice. Because if they don't do that, Flage will just continue killing them and gaining us life. They Unholy Heat here. That makes sense. No objections there. But they need 2 lightning bolts. If they don't have 2 lightning bolts, I don't think they can win. Because we don't need to draw more cards with the One Ring. They might have a counter spell here, but, like, I don't think it matters. We just have to be very meticulous with how we tap our mana. So they're going to do this. They're going to counter the Darcy. I mean, they're going to counter and then surveil, right? Oh, nope. They just scoop it up. Basic Mountain is not good because we're mostly getting blood. We're mostly going to get hit with Blood Moon anyway if people are hurting our mana bases, which will give us all the basic mountains we need. So you want to prioritize islands and plains over basic mountains. If they play Harbinger of the Seas instead to give you islands, that's great because you're mostly running blue cards anyway. And the only red cards you're running are Discharge and Flage. And between Teferi and Solitude, you have other ways to kill the Magus of the Seas or whatever it's called. So it really doesn't make sense to have a mountain because you got double blue spells with Counterspell, Narset, all that good stuff. Even sometimes getting the Elegant Parlor and Sacred Foundry can like really mess up with what you're trying to cast. So Basic Mountain just kind of like adds to that problem, in my opinion. I've seen some people run a one of Arena of Glory so that they can haste out Flage. Even I think that's too cute, to be honest. Things that we want. So yeah, that's the reason why no Basic Mountain is just you really want to be able to cast your counter spells on turn 2, and you're not afraid of gain mountains when they Blood Moon you, obviously, and you're not afraid of Harbinger of the Seas at all because it's a creature, and even if you need that red mana for stuff, you can just Solitude it or Teferi it. Like there's other ways. Blood Moon itself, like raw Blood Moon, is much harder to interact with. Okay. Now. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Counterspell is like the only old card here. I think Wrath the Skies is just excellent. That being said, I think I'm taking him out. I think Discharge is just better in this matchup. And they don't really draw a lot of cards. And Narset just dies. So I think the forces are probably good. I'm not going to get the Narset combo a lot, but I do think she's good. And I need my card quality to be very high when I play against them. So I'm just going up to 4 Narsets and not trying to get them with Days Undoing. Because getting Unholy Heated is really rough after you cast Days Undoing. This hand seems pretty good. We have Subtlety for Ragavan. We'll let Darcy hit. That's fine. I'm afraid of Ragavan. I'm not afraid of Dragon Rage Channeler. We had a fine time playing against her last game. And I'd rather save these subtleties for Ragavan. Like, the thing about playing against Blue-Red Tempo as opposed to Control is they mostly surveil with, like, either the intention to, like, fill up for Murktide or to, like, find cards that they think will be good against you. But if they don't know the context of your hand, they might just be, like, looking for stuff that's, like, not gonna matter, right? I'm gonna surveil the Flage because it's basically card advantage doing that. Like, now they know Flage is here and they gotta respect it. Let's see what we draw. I think 2 Darcys is probably too much for us to deal with. Yeah, I can deal with 1. I don't think I can deal with 2. That is a bit too much. Definitely keeping Scalding Tarn, because we want to do Flage shenanigans in the future. Did they put Darcy on top of their library? No, they put Darcy on the bottom because they're not hitting lands. Okay. Show me Spell Snare. Wow! No Spell Snare, no Spell Pierce. That is really bad for our opponent, honestly. We will deal 1 to that. And what do we get here? Probably the Azorius Surveil Land. Okay, now we got a game. Now we got a game. So they got Counterspell in their hand. Otherwise, there'd be like no reason for them to keep this hand, right? Bottoming that. Things I want to do. I think I want to like pressure them into using their Counterspell here. So on their upkeep, before they draw, Solitude your Darcy. They're going to counter that, or they're not going to counter it. What do they have? Do they just have, like, removal? I guess. Okay, wow. Shit, okay. Gonna go Flage. Let's get rid of these cards. Here we are, and they don't have Unholy Heat. Wow. Is this what Eurogamers felt like? It probably is. Petty theft. Okay. Sure. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Oh no, they sent my Lightning Helix Factory back to my hand. How will I ever erase them now? That is every Dragon Rage channeler is dead. Okay. Gonna get Steam Vents. That way we have a healthy amount of red mana. Play that. Throw him back in the TV. Yes, I would like to gain 3 and deal 3 to my opponent. I am not even worried about Brazen Borrower. If they play it, sure, that resolves. Go for it. Feel like I'm not worried about my life total here. I will just keep escaping. Preordained, sure. Not worried about that. Even if they play a Murktide Regent here, it's like, yeah, okay. It's like, your Murktide Regent's cool, but can it race Flage? We drew another counterspell. Man, this deck is so good. When this deck hits its land drops, it's very good. When it doesn't hit its land drops and stumbles on turn 2, it is very bad. But if you can get to 4 mana on curve, this deck is unstoppable. That's the thing, right? Our late game is just probably the best late game in the modern format. Like, what do you do? What do you do against Flage? Like, Ragavan, cool. I'm gonna counter that. Now we just, like, aggressively trade off cards. There's a null, sure. If they draw exactly Murktide here, we could be in trouble. Yeah, I don't really care about that. Don't really care. Magus is scary, but I feel like okay, Magus and Blood Moon. That might be an issue. We need our basic planes or a basic island. Magus and Blood Moon is bad. Or Teferi. Like, if we get Teferi, we might be fine. Yeah, it's good redundancy. They got all their bases covered. Their counter magic's off and they can't play Murktide Regent, but ooh, okay. I think we bounce Magus. Then Subtlety Magus. Okay, they're gonna preordain. Sure. Now it doesn't really make sense for them to... Okay, nope, they put it on top. Sure. Feel like we just uptick Teferi. Like a whole bunch. Yeah, because now, if they don't kill Teferi, they're in for a world of hurt. Okay, they're gonna express themselves. They're looking for a way to kill Tef. Or like a Ragavan or something. There's Lightning Bolt. Mm-hmm. There's Magus. Actually, we don't even need to kill Magus right now, right? We got time. One Ring's a good draw. Lots of good draws. I'd rather kill a Ragavan than a Magus, to be honest. Like we're at a healthy 16 life. Okay, force. Yep, we're at Top Deck City. Population us. Imagine all the double blue cards they're drawing. Okay. Darcy's all gone. There's expressive iteration. If they get an island here, we're probably in trouble. If they get Ragavan, it's like, fine, we just kill it. Okay, there's an island. We need to draw an island now, then. Or planes. If we draw planes, we're good. Or the One Ring. We have lots of good top decks. Tune the narrative. That kind of counts. Our set doesn't. Okay, there's Ragavan. Kill Ragavan. We can force pitching Narset. Okay. I would really like either of my basics. I have 3 basics left. One Ring's also a good card. Literally anything except that. Okay. We die. Good Blood Moon, honestly. Very good Blood Moon. They just top decked better than us. I guess we're purging. We're Celestial Purge gamers now. Bring in 2 of those purges. What do we take out? Probably 1 Tune the Narrative and 1 Force. That was close. Great Blood Moon from our opponent, honestly. They did awesome there. This hand is pretty good. We have things to kill Ragavan, multiple things, really. And they mulligan to 6. Okay. Start with Meticulous Archive. I'll keep Discharge on top to kill whatever 1-drop they play. There's Ragavan. Just gonna kill Ragavan now. No reason to delay. Kill Ragavan today. I like that card so much better than Prismatic Ending. Okay. Definitely want to try and get their counterspell out of their hand. So here's Narset. If they're spending the turn counterspelling Narset, they're not spending the turn, like, considering. Okay, they just don't have counterspell. Cool. Or maybe they'd rather bolt it and give us the card? Oh, gosh, that is insane to me. They put Preordain in the graveyard. I'll do this to bait the counterspell. Never mind, they just don't have it. Or maybe they were representing, like, a null. Okay, there's Lightning Bolt. They might have, like, Force. Narset's literally already done her job. Good job, Narset. You're the champ. Gonna get Hollowed Fountain here. Play the One Ring. Hope they don't have Force. If they do, then that's fine. Yeah. Yeah, I think they were trying to, like, set up for Murktide Regent, but, like, they're on the draw. It's gonna be a lot harder for them to do that, right? Okay, they bounce. They bounce the One Ring back. That's fine. They're probably gonna counter it on the way back down. Which, like, I'd rather just make them hold up counter magic all game, right? Like, they bounce that so that they can counter it on the way back down. I'd rather just make them hold shit up forever, right? Okay. Counter your expressive iteration. You want to fight over this? Because you know the One Ring's in my hand. Yeah. Slapping Solitude on their instep, like, all good options. We are just in the driver's seat here. Keep Subtlety. That's a good way to counter Murktide. There's Narset. Want to counter Narset? Mm. Actually, yeah, there's no reason to do that either. Because we can just Solitude. Yeah. This is looking a lot better than against the old Is It control list we played against. Okay, they're gonna pay some costs. Here's Solitude. You want to kill it? Nope. Okay, cool. Here we are. They could just be like holding up invert polarity at this juncture in the game as well. Okay, they put Brazen Borrower on top, and then they fetch away. Cool. Here's our Flash Threats opponent. Are you going to play Murktide Regent? Okay, they're bolting here. There's Murky. As a 4-4. Oh, are they getting ready for like 2 Murktide Regents? Because that would be funny. Cool. Play Narset. You want to counter her? Okay. Here's the One Ring. Awesome. Okay. Murktide Regent. It's gonna be a problem. But I feel like Flage can race. I feel like Flage is gonna race these Murktides, is the thing. They're gonna have 2 cards in their hand after this. There's no point in attacking the opponent. I have protection. There's literally no point. They're gonna have exactly 2 mana up. Okay. Feel like they want to do invert polarity stuff. Yeah, it's a free swing with Solitude. Okay, they're Tidebindering here. Sure. I think we just do this. Kill Tidebinder. I don't even really want to play Teferi here. Flage just seems better. Like, if I can get this under invert polarity, I'd rather do that. Yeah. I wouldn't have attacked with Murktide Regent. You're not gonna race me. I have like a jamillion ways to gain life. This is fine. Now they only have red mana. They can Unholy Heat. Sure. Yeah, like... Oh, baby, a triple. Let's go. I guess it's not a triple because we're 2-1. But, yeah, out-tempoing the Murktide deck feels good. I think that blue-red control deck is probably just the better build at this point, right? Like, Tamiyo is such a freaking good Magic card. Like, you gotta run it. If you are on the play and you play Tamiyo, it's just so much better than Ragavan. Late game, I feel like it's better too. It's a lot for your opponents to deal with. Very curious where blue-red's gonna go from here. I don't think I don't think any of them are really going to be like the draw go style anymore. You got to put pressure on your opponent. Cool thing is, pressure manifests in a lot of different ways. And I kind of prefer especially if like Flage is going to be in the format, I prefer the pressure of just like, I have a million cards and you don't know if one of them is invert polarity, then like your life total is low, you know? So just raw card advantage and putting the fear of the coin flip into them is definitely going to be the way to go with blue red. I'm not good enough to play it in this meta, right? I need to like learn more about what's happening in the meta before I can. This hand is good if we draw a single blue source, like just one. And we got 3 draws to do that. And even at 4 draws, technically, if we don't mind not holding up counterspell on turn 2. Oh no, you're an Urza Saga deck. Oh no, it's Wrath the Skies. Yeah, no, for sure. But there's still great players like Twinless Twin, Nameless, Fat Caster Mage. Oh gosh. There's so many Sakura, obviously. There's so many Menguchi, Andre Menguchi plays blue red like all the time. There's so many like good blue red players out there that even if I once was like the expert and master of the archetype, it's okay now because like I'm not the only one trying to make blue red work anymore, and that makes me really happy, right? I'm so happy that like because like all those guys were around too when I was around, don't get me wrong, but like they would occasionally like play other things, right? I was like the blue red guy, but now I'm not the blue red guy anymore, and that means the deck will get better, right? Because like the more people you have working on an archetype, the better it'll get. And those guys are still making blue red work, doing all the difficult work for me so I don't lose my brain. And then once they're done, I can just run whatever they're running, right? Okay, Amulet Titan, love to see it. I think we just I I'll just hold up another counter spell and be like, yes, play more Amulet of Vigors, please. Okay, Amulet, good matchup for blue red most of the time, unless your name is mistaken, then we literally can't beat you. Against with Jeskai, I'm not so sure. Okay, the One Ring, no. Okay, I feel like we need to get our steam vents here. And this feels like ooh, we could just bounce their Amulet of Vigor. That seems tasty. Yeah, I think I'm all about that. Just bounce their Amulet of Vigor. Kill all their stuff on the way down. They could just play Primeval Titan and kill us, but they would need like a really, really good hand to do that. Maybe I should have tuned the narrative there in case we drew one of our 2 force negations. That was a punt. Okay. If they play the One Ring here, I'm fine with that. I don't want them playing a Arboreal Grazer or what's it called? Okay, now we can Wrath at instant speed, which is really funny. Definitely keeping that on top. Gotta hit our lands. Yeah, I kind of want to do that and just completely board wipe them. Okay, opponent. You are playing at sorcery speed. I am not. What do you want to do? The world is your oyster. You want 2 Primeval Titans? 3 Primeval Titans? How about a One Ring? You can have it all. You can have it all, opponent. Just be prepared to lose it all. The world is yours. You're playing lands? What more could you want? Put a card on top. Cool. I will kill whatever you play. Maybe not this turn. Maybe not the next turn, but soon. Okay. Let us play Narset. Here she is. Okay, things I want. Counterspell would be really good. Wrath is fine. Now they know about it, though, which is a little sad. But, you know, what can you do? Except they don't know about this Galvanic Discharge, right? So they still might try to go for Primeval Titan because they're like, they can Wrath, but they can't kill Prime Time, right? Like, I implore you, get Primeval Titan. Yep. We're gonna let them do all the fun shit that they want to do. Go on. You can have it all, opponent. But be prepared to lose it all. I want to see at least 17 Primeval Titans by the end of the turn. And a One Ring. And then we can pretend like this deck isn't good. Then we can downplay it. That's the first step for like learning how to play Amulet Titan. You have to learn the art of downplaying, right? Oh my goodness. Be still my beating heart. It's Urza's Saga. Hey, you guys know what Urza's Saga is? It's an enchantment. You know what Wrath of Skies kills? It's enchantments. It's for Okay. Are they just passing? Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna kill Primetime. We're gonna use 6 energy to do that. Then we're gonna Rat the Skies and kill Urza Saga and Amulet of Vigor. Now they know about that one. I don't think they know about the second one. They cannot react because Teferi is here. Goodbye, Moon Man. And we drew Subtlety. It really is that easy. So we can Subtlety a Primeval Titan if they play that. Get our beats going. I did just Wrath for 1 energy. Feels really good. And 2 mana. And 2 mana. At instant speed. This deck is cracked. We got a rough start when we played against Blue-Red. But honestly, if any deck was going to beat us, it would be Blue-Red control. All right. Do things, Amulet Titan player. Bristly Bill. Yeehaw. Okay. That dies to Flage, so it can live. I also might just Wrath it. Like, yeah, come on, let's see what else you want to do. Do more stuff. Come on, do more stuff. You're Amulet Titan. You love putting crap on the field. So go on, put some more crap on the field. Okay, they put a card on top. Definitely gonna Flage. Except it costs 5 mana to double the number of 1/1 counters. Eh. I might just kill it. Get some energy. We got one more Rat the Skies. Use 2 energy, kill Bristly Bill. Play another Narset. Take Counterspell. Pass the turn. Eventually, we're gonna find our Days Undoing, and our opponent yeah, like, we're gonna find the Days Undoing. You're gonna lose every card in your hand, and that's just gonna be the end of it. Okay, things we want against Amulet Titan. Consign to memory. Counters Amulet, counters the One Ring, counters Primeval Titan triggers. Can't ask for more. Subtlety, excellent magic card. Just really, really good at stopping the opponent from doing stuff. I think we go down Flage. Because Flage doesn't really like kill anything. I might go to 1. It's just I have to tap out for it, right? And it kills like Arboreal Grazer and like I guess Bristly Bill if they're running that. But I don't know, not feeling that. I definitely want to keep Wrath. Wrath seems very good. All these cards are good. I guess we cut the Narset Days Undoing package. Because I want at least 2 forces. We're on the draw. Maybe we bring those in on the play. Wrath the Skies. Reach for the skies. And we have Solitude. I think this hand is very good. Guys, I think this hand is very good. I think they're going to just put 3 amulets into play on turn 2. And we're going to be like, that's cool. That's a lot of stuff you have. Because really, the more you simplify Magic, the easier it gets to play Control, right? It doesn't matter if the crap your opponent has is 6 Amulets of Vigor, or like 500 Elvish Mystics, or like a million, Mana Dorks. It doesn't matter. Do they have crap that you want to get rid of? Play the thing that gets rid of all this junk and move on with your life and be happier for it. Like, the more things change, the more things stay the same, right? The second you learn to stop, like, being like, oh, but I gotta have a card for, like, this, and just kind of, like, reduce them into specific categories, the easier it gets to build, like, a good control deck. You just want things that answer everything. Okay, they get a dude. I don't care. Because that's a dude that dies to Wrath of Skies. Tapping out for it's gonna be a bit tricky, but we should be okay. We at least have Solitude, in case they want to do, like, Primeval Titan stuff. Arboreal Grazer. Sure. Another dude that dies. They get a token. Yep. Play an amulet. Nope. Okay. Like, they got some 1/1s, and I know this dude combos with Arboreal Grazer and Dryad, but I just don't care. Oh my god. I got Steam Vents. I should have got the other one. That was a huge punt, honestly. Should have got my Surveil Land. The One Ring? No. Okay. Gotta get our Surveil Land here. Probably gonna get... We don't really need a lot of red mana. I'm feeling Meticulous Archive. I think that's what it's called. Meticulous Archive. We need a land. That will not do. Land. No land. They're pressuring us really hard here. Okay, they're gonna tap out to, like, play the One Ring or something. And that will theoretically buy us enough time to play either Teferi or what have you. But if we just continue to sit on our mana, we won't be able to win. Okay, make this 2. We have to... It would have been ideal if we could have like hit a land and held up counterspell and that, but this just needs to be how it is. Gotta make them have it. Because the pressure was getting too great. And if they play the One Ring, we can play Taff, we can bounce the One Ring, force them to play it again next turn, and that will ideally create a situation where we can play our own One Ring. Okay, they get rid of Teleria West. Here's the One Ring, right? No? Is it Dryad time? Okay. We can bounce that too. Like, I'd prefer that they play that than the One Ring, to be honest. Because that's just another thing we can bounce with Taff. If we draw a land for the One Ring, I think we just play it here. Okay, we don't. Goodbye, Dryad. Land. No land. Which is super unfortunate. We can kill Dryad with Discharge. We don't have another white card. So if they play Titan here plus Dryad, we do have to go, like, pitch Solitude, which is super sad, but we're just, like, one land drop away from, I think, winning the game. They didn't play a land either. It's possible they don't have one. Okay, Valakut plus Shifting Woodland. They have Artifact, Creature, Enchantment, Land. They do have Delirium. Which means we do have to Solitude this. Or alternatively, we could discharge it. And then if they go to reanimate it with Shifting Woodland, then we Solitude. That probably makes more sense. Galvanic Discharge. I will use every last drop of energy. Making some quick work of Amulet Titan here. I like it. Definitely going to counter Dryad on the way down here. I do not want to deal with you right now. And now they can Woodland. It effectively doesn't have Summoning Sickness. And then they can, like, theoretically swing with Primeval Titan, assuming we didn't have these Solitudes. Yep, they Shifting Woodland. It's Primeval Titan. Your boy. And now we're going to Solitude that. Get rid of the Woodland forever. Which is excellent. Then we can just play the One Ring, and from there, winning should be fairly intuitive. Just gotta make sure they don't attack. You gain 6 life. You're welcome, opponent. I know you were very worried about your life total. Okay, woodland. Not looking too good. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Or like wouldn't land. Got him. Okay. Let's give ourselves protection. Of note, Teferi can still die to Valakut triggers here, but we can't. We also can't get hit by Primeval Titan. But again, Teferi can. So this turn, because they can't react on our end step and we have protection, they're likely gonna spend the turn setting up for like another big turn. Okay, so they Nantuko. Probably play another Primeval Titan. We need Wrath the Skies, most likely. Or they just have nothing. Or they just have nothing. Consequences of playing a deck that is 50% lands, I guess. I would have really liked to draw something there that could deal with this board. And maybe I still can, but just gonna loop the One Ring, I think. I can still play stuff at instant speed. So who knows? Maybe I draw a Wrath here. Counterspell's pretty good. I'll take Counterspell. That can counter Dryad. They didn't play anything last turn, even though they have all the mana one could ever need. Let's see. How do we die here? I guess we just have to, like, draw all... Why aren't they attacking Tef? It's free real estate, opponent. It's free real estate. Okay, discharge. Things I want to do. I have enough red sources to do this, right? Yeah. Start with just bouncing Urza Saga. Gonna counter the trigger with Consign. Oh, no, I can't. Because it has to be... Yep, okay. That was a pun. Has to be a triggered ability. Okay. Now we're kind of in trouble. Now we're starting to get into some trouble here. Because we haven't drawn a Wrath. I should have killed the Nentuko there. Yeah, I'm not playing well currently. I think after this I might get, like, water. I might take a water break. They're probably attacking me, right? Yeah, okay. I needed to do this earlier. Definitely more concerned with killing the creatures that have actual abilities. They didn't attack Teferi, which maybe we're happy about that, maybe we're not. Amulet of Vigor. I'm more concerned with the One Ring. Honestly, they can have Amulet. There's like way better things for me to spend my counter magic on at this stage. Okay, we theoretically go to 1 here. We need life gain of some kind. Or we can just bounce. Yeah, or we can just bounce the One Ring back to our hand before we take any damage of it with Odawara. Okay. Yeah, I like that. Man, Odawara is such a good land. Okay. Definitely discarding the fetch land. Every little crumb of life that we have here is essential. Okay. No. I'm just gonna Odawara it, during my turn. I mean, not my turn, my opponent's turn. Because I got enough mana to do that. Shuko? Oh my gosh, are you a Nadu deck? Really? Really? Really, you're a Nadu deck too. That's so cute. Yeah, I'm just gonna Odawara it when they're done doing whatever it is they're doing here. Because I only need... Yeah, okay. I'm gonna pay 1 energy here and wipe their board of all this crap. That way I can still hold up Odawara and Consign to Memory. I'm not convinced Nadu is good. I think people like to complain about Hogak, but they're like, oh man, I wish I could have been there when Hogak was broken so I could have got a bunch of free wins, you know? And I feel like they really want Nadu to be that, and it's not. It just isn't. Hogak was fucking miserable to play against. If y'all were there, you know. Nadu is definitely not that. They play mana dorks. They play things that die to removal and don't want to die, right? You don't want your Delighted Halfling to die. These are not the same decks. Like, stop trying to make Nadu work. It isn't gonna work. I don't even think we tap the One Ring here. Yeah, exactly. That's 100% it, Billy. Is like, don't get me wrong, you can win with the deck, especially if you're a really good Magic player. When Spike or Dingo or Menguchi, they win with Nadu, like, that doesn't mean the deck is broken. That just means the deck can win and they're good players. Aspiring Spike could win with like a leather shoe in a cardboard box. It doesn't mean Nadu is Hogak. If it was, you'd literally be playing against it every other match, because that is how bad it was. That is how bad it was every other match, to the point where people needed to run Leyline of the Void in their main deck. In their main deck! This shit is not equal. I think they really figured it out with Modern Horizons 3. I think Ruby Storm is perfectly fine. I think the Nadu decks are good. I think Felia is like a really fun card. Like, it's just, things are good. Let people be happy. Not everything is, oh my gosh, we gotta ban it. Like, it's fine. Just play your games of Magic, and if you lose to Nadu, ask yourself why you lost, and do better. There you go. That's all you gotta do. I'm gonna kill all their stuff here for 2 mana, by the way. Because we uptick Tef, right? Oh, they have to target themselves, right? Because I played the ring. Yeah, I played the ring. They have to target their own shit here. Which is really funny. Oh, no, wait. Hang on. Oh. Nope, they can target Tef. Well, that's scary. Okay, now I'm just gonna kill it. Okay. Play Wrath. Pay 3 energy. One, two, three. Goodbye. Fizzles the Valakut trigger. Like, if you want to play a deck that kills Nadu, just play this. Just register copies of Wrath the Skies. They run Urza Saga. They run a million Dorks. Don't worry if they play it on turn 2. You have pitch elementals. Like, they can't turn 2 combo you. This ain't Ruby Storm. Amulet Titan's so fun because this game took 5 hours. Okay, I'm just doing this now. Okay, eventually we're gonna find our copy of Flage, and that'll be the end of it. Okay, not putting a burden counter on anything. Not even cracking my fetch land. Maybe they play Lightning Bolt. I don't know. Amulet Titan players will play anything if it means that they can combo harder. And Life Bolt, Lightning Bolt, I called it Life Bolt. Keep this to Fairy. Bounce my One Ring. Play Minamo. Cast my One Ring. I got 13 cards left in my deck. Let's go. 13 cards, and none of them have been win conditions. I guess a Solitude and a Subtlety. Okay, there we go. We found a way to win the game. Okay, what do we get rid of? I think Consigned to Memory. Yeah, if we were blue-red right now, I feel like we'd be struggling. But now we're just sitting behind our mountains of cards. Like, I don't even want to draw more unless I have to. Because I want to deck myself, right? I don't got Days Undoing in the deck currently. Do not want to mill myself out. But yeah, the long and short of it is if we're not at the point where a deck is eating up like 5 of your sideboard slots or even just like cards in your main deck, it's not Hogak levels of broken. Y'all gotta understand how bad it really was. Okay, we got no more Wrath the Skies. I can counter. I can counter them searching, but I don't think that's worth it. Because where are they gonna get here that we like legitimately care about? We don't care about Amulet of Vigor. Vexing Bauble. Okay. Sure. We have a million mana. It's fine. It is not a concern. Okay, thank you, opponent. Thank you for conceding. It was not gonna get any better. Okay. Jeskai control. We are 3-1. And I am gonna go to the bathroom really quick and get some water because that felt really good, by the way. Amulet Titan, normally I feel like, oh, I need land hate, right? Like I need a way to just like stop them from generating a million things. This didn't feel like that. Having answers to Amulet of Vigor and construct tokens, all this stuff, Wrath the Skies really just is that good. It's not oppressive because ultimately what you are doing is you are using this to like counter people doing broken shit anyway, right? Like it's like, behold my 4 Amulet of Vigors on turn 2. Isn't this fair? Like you're not gonna feel bad wrathing that person because they know what they signed up for. So it feels really powerful, but like only in control decks. And it feels about as fair as what anybody else is doing. Like they made a Modern Horizons 3 power board wipe, and it's just excellent. But on that note, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. Alright, so my friends are over. I am not stopping the stream, but I am gonna try and beat my opponent very quickly with a Jeskai control deck, which seems unlikely. So no trophy. We might get the 4-1. I should probably talk about this deck's bad matchups, right? Anything with invert polarity is kind of rough. Anything that destroys your lands, because as like early on, because as we saw, if we get stuck on our lands, we basically can't do anything, right? Or we can do stuff, but just like not nearly as well. So sowing microspawn, sowing mycosynth decks are really good against us. And I feel like that's about it. Like really, because every other deck is like, let's just put all this crap into play. I guess Storm can be bad if you don't draw counter magic, but you got like 4 counter spells, 3 consign to memory, 4 force and negations, and like rest in peace. So it doesn't seem super hard to win against Storm. But I'd say like those are the 3 potentially like worst matchups for Jeskai. Um, I think the sowing Mycospawn decks are worse for us than the invert polarity decks. Because the thing about invert polarity is you can't just be like, well, the worst thing she can do is say no. And it's like, no, the worst thing they can do is counter it. Actually, the worst thing they can do is steal whatever you're casting. That is way worse. So you can't just like be like, oh, I'm gonna like play my stuff into this counter spell and to pave the way for the thing I really care about, because they could just like steal your bait, and sometimes your bait is so good because you're playing like a good magic deck that the thing you want to resolve won't even matter if they steal it. So yeah, that card very good against us. Which, if Jeskai becomes more popular, that might be a big enough reason to play the blue-red control decks. I wouldn't recommend the tempo decks. Just because you wanna, like, with the tempo decks, play a bunch of cheap nerds and then protect them with counter magic, and you run, like, so many unholy heats and so many, like, other things that, like, don't do anything in these matchups, or at least not before it's too late, that I feel like less creatures, more invert polarities is where blue red wants to be right now, in my opinion. Okay, they took counterspell, which is a bit scary. They might be a Death Shadow deck, in which case Solitude's going to be really funny. Okay, let's get Meticulous Archive, put counterspell in our hand. 15 bucks, little man. Put that shit in my hand. I love hand turkey counterspell. It makes me so happy when I see it. Oh, you're one of those decks. You're one of those decks, opponent. Okay. Got it. You like to cheese people with grief and bowmasters, don't you, Squidward? Okay, I'm gonna do this now so they can't be like, sack my token to not dead after all, bowmasters. Mhm. Or are they just doing that to fizzle my galvanic? Yeah. I mean, good play from them, honestly. Put the fear of God in me. You like to grieve people on turn 1, don't you, Squidward? Okay, not really under a lot of pressure here. We can just chill. Learn more about their deck. It'll be fun. You only got 4 Orcish Bowmasters in your deck. Eventually, you're gonna have to play something. Because we will draw a land in 13 turns. There we go. I wish it was an island so that we could hold up 2 counter spells. This is fine, though. Oh no, the 1/1 hit us. Ah! Maybe I should play it optimally so I don't take 1 damage. Ah! Watch, I'm gonna end up losing via like a single Orcish Bowmaster's ping this game. Definitely gonna do this so that I can Solitude on their end step, right? Because, like, there's no reason not to. They know about the Solitude because of Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize, ooh, spooky! Take a look. Okay. Their instant speed cards include probably like Fatal Push and Bowmasters. Neither of which I really care about here. It's like, behold. Okay. Exile your Orc token. You can play more Orcish Bowmasters if you so desire. Yeah, I'll trade a Force for that. No reason not to. Just play Narset. Spin to win. No, you don't understand. My Thoughtseize is supposed to be invincible. I now have perfect information about your hand, so I know exactly how boned I am. I'm thinking of those hilariously corny memes where it's like, just a brief glimpse into my fucked up mind. 2 solitudes, 2 counter spells. Psychic Frog. Okay. Okay. Arcana Cruelty? Are you persisting? Is this happening? Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy? Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Okay, cool deck, opponent. Honestly, really cool deck. Anyway. Mm-hmm. Okay, this frog is a big frog. Don't get me wrong. We still might lose here. Oh, never mind. Oh, never mind. Days Undoing. Aptly named. Man, it feels good to be back. Okay, let's think. There's some sort of reanimator psychic frog deck, right? So I feel like galvanic discharge probably isn't great. Days Undoing plus Narset feels busted. Subtlety feels really good. I don't like Flage. I don't like Teferi. Because they're just gonna flare a Malice Teferi, and I'm gonna feel like an idiot. Um, Tune the Narrative and -1 Wrath. I feel like I still want some number of Wraths just to, like, kill all their dorky shit. Actually, maybe just, like, there we go. Like that. Like one Wrath, just in case things get really out of control. And I don't want to bring more forces in. Because I feel like other than Persist, there's not really a lot I'm afraid of. Like, they could flare Malice and, like, kill my dudes after they already get value, but eh. This hand is very bad. Because this Tune the Narrative absolutely will draw us another land, and not a white spell for Solitude. So, we really want to be getting to like 4 mana for the One Ring, or like 3 mana for our Planeswalkers. This hand's better. This is better. Likely gonna bottom the island. Just in case they try to like dump everything to Psychic Frog. That way we can still kill it with 2 discharges instead of just 1. Okay, they mulligan to 5. I might actually get to finish this relatively quickly. You know, definitely quicker than the Amulet Titan match, like that's for sure. Still, it's a 3-hour league. It's the thing about Jeskai as opposed to Blue Red. Blue Red actually like wins fairly quick, or it loses like relatively quick most of the time. These Jeskai games go on for a minute. Okay. Gonna lead on Elegant Parlor because I don't think that they're playing much I actually care about on turn 2, and I want to be able to double bolt. There is an argument for like holding up Counterspell here, but I feel like the way they win on a mulligan to 5 is Psychic Frog into just like dump everything and then hope Psychic Frog like recoups the damage. So if they add 7, I'd keep Counterspell up, but they don't. They have 5, so they're going to be desperate and doing desperate plays, right? Because they know that they can make Psychic Frog live if they just dump enough shit in. Oh, Satoru. Okay, that's even better for us, really, because we can just kill Satoru. Just Meticulous Archive again, keep the land on top. Narset very good against Satoru as well. And Psychic Frog, really. And Tainted Indulgence, jeez. If they dump an Archon here, I'm a little scared. Okay, they're gonna get Bloodghast back. They can sack it to Phyrexian Tower to generate 2 black. But they're not doing that. So, I'm gonna get Steam Vents here. Gonna play Narset. Look for a white card. Rest in Peace, I think, would be really good. This is probably my go-to deck if I play any of the challenges either. Definitely taking Force. Wow, they just don't do anything with Phyrexian Tower. Okay, Narset's gonna go to 1. Because there's no way they attack me, right? Man, Narset's such a good Magic card. Wow, they do nothing. And there's Rest in Peace. Gonna tap that for a black because they got Urborg out. Okay, do we let Narset die here? I feel like I shouldn't. I feel like it doesn't make sense to. Like, they could still grief us. I don't know. Maybe it's good. I'm a little afraid of Grief and Bowmaster's killing Narset. I'd rather them play Bowmaster and, like, ping Narset than for them to grief me. They put a card on top. Okay, no, Narset's gonna die. I need to use this counter magic for whatever they're playing now. Sorry, Narset. You did your job. And this Rest in Peace isn't going anywhere anytime soon anyway, so we can just kill this 2-1 whenever. This makes their Flare Malices worse too if they kept any of those in. Yeah, that's why you do that. I think we're confidently in the driver's seat here. Like a One Ring or a Teferi. Definitely bottoming planes. I think we just take the hit from Bloodghast here. Countering that. We're not drawing more cards. Will not allow it. Okay, they're fetching. Definitely going to kill Psychic Frog if they play Psychic Frog here. Although, opponent's probably just going to grief. Okay, they're doing nothing, so it's time. Hold up Solitude. Now we got grief insurance, which is way better than life insurance. Because life, you can always gain that back. If they grief you on turn 1, there's no coming back. Sorry, that was a stupid joke. Okay. We got the beat. Everybody get on your feet. Goodbye, Psychic Frog. And we won! Got a 4-1 with the best control deck, in my opinion, in the format. Because blue-red might beat blue-white just like the old days, but blue-red has a much harder matchup spread across the board. Like, that deck, if you're playing blue-red and you play against, like, graveyard-based, like, shenanigans, you're gonna have a bad time. Us, we can just play Rest in Peace and Solitude, and it's like, okay, whatever. Love this deck. Consign to Memory was good. Days Undoing combo was excellent. Didn't play against any Nadu. Shocker. It's not that good, guys. And no Storm, which is upsetting. I really wanted to play against Storm, get some more reps in it with that deck. But I like this. I like the Consign to Memories better than the Charmaws. I think with Eldrazi, you just kind of gotta hope your subtleties and our set Days Undoing get there. You know, like, and if they Myco spawn you, you just accept that it's a bad matchup and move on with your life. But that's it for me, everybody. I'm gonna head out. Maybe I'll play the challenge sometime in the future or preliminary. Except those are couple of days away, a couple of hours away. I guess this one launches in 8 hours. I could do that. Yeah, I might do this preliminary. That sounds fun. I might do that. I don't know if I'll stream that, but yeah. Love the Jeskai deck. Big fan of it. And I'm going to head out. If you like the video, make sure to not only follow my new Twitch channel down below if you're watching on YouTube, and also Siren's Call, the game I made. Please wishlist it. Link is also down in the description. If you want to know a little bit more about what I've been doing when I haven't been playing Magic, this is it. This game is my passion. Really big passion project for me and my wife. So give it a look, especially if you like visual novels. I'm going to head out, though. Thank you all for stopping by, and I'll see you in the next one.